Hey, YouTube, it's another perfect day in God's country, and I ain't lying. Listen, I'm sitting here on the top of this Swedish mountain in my hideaway cave, 700-room mansion, because as many of you know, my canned climate change was the item to have this Christmas. And the amount of stampedes worldwide, all over the earth, that lies within the waters in this realm that we call home, that were created over this phenomenon this Christmas, was absolutely amazing. And I do want to take a minute to thank each and every one of you. And my family's really enjoying this Swedish spa. And anyway, we're just having a great time here on the top of the mountain in Switzerland. And I wanted to chime in, wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and explain to people exactly why the I apologize for that little delay there. I wanted to chime in and explain to everybody exactly why the canned climate change was the number one item to have on everybody's Christmas list this year, and why it's just flying off the shelves. And if you stay tuned in until the end, I'm going to give you a very important announcement about the latest product, the latest canned climate change, which would be the remotely operated canned climate change, the most significant of all of our more significant than our canned gravity, more significant even possibly than our canned dark matter, which, as you know, has been selling tremendously throughout the infinite universe. And I continue to maintain a fantastic fleet of spaceships delivering canned dark matter throughout the infinite universe, and continue to encourage more investors to join the tremendous list of incredibly successful and wise and the investors that I have. These are all men of vision who understand that the limits, you're only limited by your imagination. So looking for other investors that understand the power of being only limited by your imagination, that want to send Lucky some investment capital to help maintain the spacecraft that are delivering the dark matter throughout the infinite universe. I certainly appreciate that. But today, obviously, you guys are already aware of the hype and the big, like I said, from the stampedes to the long lines to the lack of my ability to keep up with the demand. Canned climate change flying off the shelf this year. Why is that, folks? That is because we all have that family member. We all have a cousin. We all have that cousin Mike that likes to hunt. We all have that, cousin Sally that likes to hike, and cousin Bob that likes to fish, and all of these people. And the original standard climate change in a can is able to handle all of these circumstances and prevent them from coming back from their hike wearing some kind of tinfoil hat and, being some kind of conspiracy theorist because the woods were beautiful and the waterfall was wonderful and nature was thriving, and they came back with some spectacular wild notion because they've been watching too many YouTube videos that things out in the real world might actually be okay. And for the most part, Lucky's standard climate change in a can will handle that. They can, when they're having that panic attack out in the woods, they can open it themselves. And this will, without the need for a radio or television or internet, this will soothe their anxiety and make sure that they don't come back with some kind of conspiratorial mindset or something. However, Bob from Minnesota wrote and said, "Hey, Lucky, your climate change in a can is one of the most wonderful products I've ever used and has helped me keep my extended family's heads firmly up their anus for years now, and I cannot thank you enough. However, there's this young fella in our family that likes to go fishing at a remote lake for 4 days at a time. And we have no way to get him to open. We have packed climate change in a can in every single bag he takes with him, and he refuses to open it. So, Bob from Minnesota, one thing that Lucky is all about is listening to his customers. So I have invented Lucky's new and improved climate change in a can, remote controlled. And this climate change in a can is 33% more effective 99.9% of the time. So don't turn that upside down, by the way. But it is 33% more effective 99% of the time. Clinically proven by me writing it on a can with a Sharpie. So now, Bob from Minnesota, thank you again for being a longtime customer. And you bring up an important point that, of course, we've already been working on diligently around the clock. And we now have it solved. If you have a cousin or a family member that likes to go fishing on some remote lake for 4 and 5 days at a time, folks, do not risk them coming back as some tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist that thinks that nature is doing fine and everything is beautiful once you get away from the television. Don't allow it, folks. What you do is you pack 6 or 8 of these Lucky's new climate change in a can all around their vehicle and in their boat and anywhere you can stick one, and then you can remotely activate it, and they will certainly come home saying, "Oh my gosh, it's all wrecked," just like the television says. So, folks, you cannot risk your family becoming those tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists, and that's why Lucky's climate change was not only the #1 item on everyone's Christmas list. Lucky's new climate change in a can, remotely operated, will continue to fly off the shelves for the rest of the year. So, again, as always, we're looking for investors. Ask yourself, who can I help today? Start thinking Lucky's probably the guy, and go out there and do it.